Hi, I'm Michelle Rakowski, your guide through the Hack Divorce course. In this video, I'm going to talk about using checklists to keep yourself on track and stay productive while you're going through your process of divorce and separation. Maybe the idea of using lists gives you some relief because most of us have some anxiety when there's a lot to do. But for some people, the idea of using checklists creates a bit of anxiety. The truth of the matter is that you're going through a tough time right now and you've got a lot to do, and checklists are going to make things easier for you. First of all, going through a breakup is chaos. Your emotions are in chaos, and often the practical pieces of your life are in chaos as well, like your home, your finances, your relationship with friends and family, and maybe your health is suffering a bit too. You might find that in general, you're just not as organized as you normally are. This is all okay and to be expected, but you still have to sort stuff out so that you're ready to hash out an agreement with your ex. Checklists give structure and stability, especially in times of chaos, and this reduces anxiety. It's practically impossible to remember all of the documents and information you need to gather, people you need to call, and the decisions you need to think through when you're going through a separation. Even if you did try to keep it all straight in your head, you'd be stressing yourself out way unnecessarily. In the Hack Divorce course, I'm going to give you several printable checklists that can keep you organized and help reduce stress and anxiety significantly. Basically, lists help you to plan. They make you more productive, they motivate you, and they save you time. What does it feel like when you get a whole list of stuff done? It feels like relief. You're going to feel confident and prepared. Hopefully, you're proud of yourself for getting so much done. You're also going to have more stress-free time to do the things you want to do. Who doesn't like to see themselves at some future date actually having accomplished the things they set out to do? When you're working with a list, take a second here and there and envision yourself being complete with the things on your list. Science has proven that envisioning actually helps people to be more successful in achieving their goals. What's really awesome about lists is that as things get checked off, we get instant gratification that we're doing something positive. And who doesn't like to feel good? Getting stuff done means you'll be able to sleep better at night, and you'll be able to spend your leisure time doing the things you like without feeling the nagging burden of the shoulda, woulda, couldas. So I'm going to share some tips on how to use lists effectively, and I really need you to do these things. First of all, you need to print the appropriate lists off as the course rolls along and get them organized into the correct sections of the binder system we talked about in the last video. Secondly, you need to figure out what works best for you as far as where you keep those lists. For some people, simply keeping the list in the right section of the binder is sufficient. Other people are actually going to need more than one copy of certain lists so that they can put them up on the fridge, the bulletin board, or maybe fold it up in their wallet. These days, a lot of people take pictures of lists and store them on their phones. This is a great thing to do. Just make sure you know where you're storing those pictures in your phone and make some sort of a file or system to easily access them when you need them. Some people really need to write lists out themselves because that's just what gets it into their heads better. I know I'm like this. Because writing lists out by hand works best for some people, I've included printouts of blank lists that you can write for yourself. It doesn't matter how you do it, just use the lists. Have you heard of the 80-20 rule? Sometimes it's called eat the frog, but I think I'll stick to calling it the 80-20 rule. Basically, the 80-20 rule says that 80% of your work is done by completing the top 20% most difficult tasks on your list. The hardest stuff takes the longest to complete, so do it first. It's like eating supper before dessert, or work before you play. If you get the hardest things done first, the majority of your work will be done, and the remaining easier stuff will be a breeze to complete. Admittedly, this requires a little self-discipline, but you can do it. You'll thank yourself later when you're enjoying some well-earned, stress-reduced free time. The last thing I'm going to suggest with the whole list thing is that you have some sort of celebration or ritual when you complete a list. I know for some of you that might sound silly or weird, It probably doesn't feel like there's a whole lot to be happy about these days. But you are working hard to get things done at a time when you'd probably like to just hide your head under the covers some days, and you deserve to recognize the little things that are positive in your life right now. So, when you've completed a list, revel in seeing all those boxes ticked off. Go out with a friend for an hour or watch that show you really want to see. Do something to reward yourself for staying focused and getting stuff done. And if you have a hard time getting stuff done, incentivize yourself by picking something you really like, but only rewarding yourself with it when you've completed a list. If it helps, set deadlines. As you have success with completing tasks, it gets easier to find the motivation to keep going. Remember, every task you complete brings you closer to the finish line. Now, something that's highly compatible and almost always necessary when working with lists is making good use of your calendar. In my opinion, you essentially need that calendar to make your lists work effectively. In the next video, I'm going to talk about how to use calendars to ramp up the effectiveness of not only your lists, but for accomplishing goals and giving you hope as you're going through the process of divorce and separation. So, print off some lists right now while you're still feeling motivated, and then join me in video 3. Thanks for watching.